Oh, hey, it's a sports update. This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The 49ers lost to the Packers 33-30 last night on Monday Night Football to wrap up Week 6 of the NFL season. The 49ers have now lost 4 in a row. They are 1-5 on the season. The NLCS continued last night. Game 3 between the Brewers and Dodgers went to Milwaukee. They won 4-0 in LA. Game 4 of that series is tonight. Game 3 of the ALCS between the Red Sox and Astros is later this afternoon. That one is in Houston. Also tonight, the start of the 2018-19 NBA season. The season kicks off with the Celtics and 76ers squaring off in Boston. That's followed by the Oklahoma City Thunder visiting the Golden State Warriors. The Kings open their season tomorrow at home against the Utah Jazz. And don't forget your number 2 seeded Sacramento Kings FC open their USL playoff on Saturday against the Swope Park Rangers at Papa Murphy's Park. It's 7:03. Carpets Plus is having our fall sale, 25% off all your flooring needs. Those are your top stories. And now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Coming up at 8:05, Matt Barrows will join us. Iman Shumpert at 8:35, both via the Firewings hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. That's firewings.com. Just wing it. Craig and Sack on the Jiffy Lube text line is getting mad. I love Craig, too. He's a loyal listener and a loyal texter. He wants 3 hours today and tomorrow of Kings preview. Craig, I'm struggling to get you 45 minutes a day of a Kings preview. Honest to God, I am. We're the Kings station. You know how huge of a fan I am. We'll do the preview, but what do you want me to say, man? I can't do 3 hours on the Kings. First off, there's a lot of football. The Niners played last night. The Raiders are in shambles. So are the Niners. You got championship series baseball, and the Dodgers are choking. And I could do a Kings preview. I can do a Kings preview in 60 seconds, and it would be almost as comprehensive. Here's your Kings preview. They're going to suck this year with flashes of light. We hope they're going to either win the least amount or second least amount of games in the entire NBA. I personally am praying for no injuries and development of our youth, and I think that's where we all should be. And we're not going to have a pick at the end of the year. There's your Kings preview. We'll obviously get into that in detail more at 7:35. We're going to talk about Coach Yeager, his future with the club and what he needs to do this year. And today we'll be going down the positions. Kyle, here's why I don't like the visual you're giving me right now, Kyle. I don't think you're meaning to do this, and if you are, props. If you're watching on the video cast, Kyle is, while I'm talking about how terrible the Kings are going to be this year, he's sipping coffee in front of his Warriors logoed hoodie. And I don't know if you're meaning, I don't think you're meaning to do that, but that's very much the Kermit the Frog meme where you're just like, tell me more about what it's like. Imagine sitting around in October talking about how terrible your team is.
Well, imagine not having a first-round pick next year.
Imagine going into a season and not being the odds-on favorite to win the championship for the third straight year. Actually, really, 4 straight year. Yeah, they had the one loss, but they've been the odds-on favorite for 4 straight years. Must be nice.
I'm over here sipping tea because I think the Kings are going to win like 38-45.
Oh, no, you don't. I gotta put something, like if the Kings win 30 or more this year, I'll do something.
You got to get the tattoo.
No, I'm not getting a tattoo if the Kings win 30.
Come on, man.
The Kings win 30 or more games this year. I want to be careful about this because you got to follow through. I still have to run a mile, by the way, in a dress. I've been waiting for it to get cooler. I still have to run a mile. I haven't forgotten about that. I want to do some charity stuff with that, though. I bet if the Kings moved up in the lottery, I'd run a mile in a dress. I still have to do that. If the Kings win 30 or more games this year, I will sleep on the roof of this building and do my show from the roof of this building within a week after the end of the season. Within a week after they get to 30 wins or above. How about that? I will get a tent, I will sleep on the roof, and I will broadcast the following morning's show. Provided, by the way, asterisk, provided that the company allows me to do that and the engineers can work it out. Regardless of weather, I can't just say that and I have to do what they say. But
here's what I think the lead engineer's response would be. No.
Yeah, probably.
No, you're not doing that.
Yes, he's he's always very proactive with our I shouldn't say that. He's actually done a really good job. They've done
really fantastic.
But to your point, there have been many times usually the default answer with our engineer when I bring him an idea is no. And then I have to come back with an argument. Better odds, Kings win 40 or the Dubs win 74. I would say the Warriors winning 74, and that's not likely.
Better odds. Those are both super long shots.
Right. But I think the Kings winning 40 is actually a longer shot.
Probably.
I don't see a scenario where that's possible, barring a trade.
If the Warriors went, hey, we're going to try as hard as we can to win 74 games, they could push it. The Kings could try as hard as they can to win 40 games, and they may not get close.
Oh, tomorrow too. I gotta write this down. Tomorrow we will be unveiling our Matt George Blind Optimist Challenge. We talked about it a little bit last week. We will be unveiling the website, and we'll be unveiling the first couple of bets. Matt George, a blind optimist for the Kings, will be getting punished throughout the year, making bets on the optimistic level for the Kings. When and if he does lose, we will be punishing them in a very public manner. Somebody says it will be cold at that time of year if I do the show from the roof and I sleep up there. You're right. It will. I you know what? I'm going to go a step further. If the Kings win 30 games, not only will I sleep on the roof and do my show from the roof, but I will do that again, provided the station lets me do this. I will do it from the day they win 30 until the end of the year. So if they win 30 games if they get to 30 wins in March, I'm on the roof until mid-April. I'll absolutely do that. That's how confident I am that's not going to happen. Now ask me if I would love to sleep on the roof for a month. The answer is yes. I would love that. Because that means we're way above expectations. From the 916, if the Kings win 30, Dave gets a full body wax. I'll do that. I'm in. I will get a full body wax. I will go to my wife's little waxy place, and I will get a full body wax. And I will audio tape it. Nobody needs to see that video. The Kings win 30. Would you sit for a painting by Willie Cauley-Stein? Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Dude, I'll do that when the Kings win 1. That sounds like a great time.
I would totally do that. We'll get to more of this at 7:35. The San Francisco 49ers lost a very close game in Green Bay. This is a very close game filled with all kinds of Marquise Goodwin.
Blitz coming. Beathard steps up, throws a deep shot down the middle for Goodwin. And Goodwin's got it at the 20, and he's home. Touchdown, 49ers.
That was the first quarter. How about the second quarter?
Beathard under center, play action, dropping, looking for a shot. Throws it deep out to the far side, open, Goodwin 10, 5, diving, touchdown, 49ers. Terrific play. Beathard to Goodwin for the second time in the first half. Welcome back, Marquise.
Niners were up 30-23 in the fourth quarter. Green Bay had a couple possessions they couldn't convert on, and finally Devontae Adams hooked up with Aaron Rodgers.
3rd and 6, trailing 30-23, 2 minutes straight up to go in the game. San Francisco showing a blitz through the A-gap, and here they come. Rodgers looking, throws left side of the end zone. Yes! Touchdown! Devontae Adams! Left corner of the end zone.
Yes.
From Aaron Rodgers. 16-yard touchdown pass. They beat Greg Maben. The Packers at extra point.
And finally, well, not finally. Did you see this Kevin King interception on Beathard late in the game? You were watching the game, right?
Yeah.
The Packer interception. What did I miss? I'm not ready. I'm in no way saying that wasn't an interception, but why did we not get a replay on that?
Yeah, that was odd.
And did they not review it?
They must maybe you review all turnovers.
That's
so they
what I
looked
thought.
at it at least.
That's what I thought. But I watched one. I shouldn't say any replay. I saw one, and it very much looked like the ball
was on the ground.
The ball was on the ground, and he did not have possession when he went to the ground. Now, that's not why the Niners lost. In fact,
it probably worked out better.
It probably worked out better because that's a great punt. Because were they down at like the 13-yard line or something? Yeah. I'm just curious. That looked like they should have looked at that a lot longer.
I agree.
So you had that. And then how about this? Last thing, because I know we got a break. Mason Crosby kicks a field goal. Kyle, again, from the files of probably almost certainly wouldn't make a difference. You have 3 timeouts. Mason Crosby missed 4 field goals last week in one of the worst weeks for a field goal kicker ever. Why don't you try to ice him?
Because I think Kyle Shanahan's still a young head coach, and he lets his frustration get to him. We saw the 49ers do that against the Chiefs, too, where they were down 2 scores with like 3 minutes left or something. And they kicked a field goal. They were down 2 touchdowns. They were down 14. They kick a field goal to go down 11 with like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that he just doesn't have the game management portion of coaching down. And he was probably just at a point where he's like, whoop, screw it. I couldn't get the stop.
Yeah.
That's.
I like that answer. I'm glad you're not defending it.
That's what that Chiefs game looked like, too, where they had the bad call. You remember that on Kyle Juszczyk, the offensive pass interference on the touchdown? That backed him up and made it a 4th and goal from forever. And they kick a field goal. It's like, why not just take a shot there?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he's just not a good game management coach.
Not right now. In the long run, probably a better move for the Niners. They hold on to that draft pick, but Niner fans don't want to hear that. They wanted the victory, not the moral victory. I completely understand that. From the 916, they reviewed the interception. He had control of the ball. The ball can touch the ground. Ball can touch the ground, but the ball, he's got to have possession of the ball, and that's where Kyle and myself and many others wondered. Again, I would like to see it again, and maybe he did have to. Maybe it was an interception. I saw it was a little bit weird that they just kind of moved on that whole thing. I'm not entirely sure he did. Take a break. When we come back, 4 Down Territory. It's coming up next right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Leaving your car away from your radio? Don't worry, because the KHTK app will allow you to catch all the shows you love. Never miss The Drive or Jim Rome. Catch every minute of The Lowdown and Grant and Doug. Just download the app now and get all your favorite shows on your digital device of choice. The all-new Sports 1140 app. Get it today.
Carmichael Dave here, talking to you about Dr. Jack Friedlander and my good friends over at NorCal Liposculpture. His Vaser and Vaser high-def technology can absolutely change your life. Now, for those of you who listen to the show every day and you hear me talk about Dr. Jack, you hear me say this almost every spot I do for them. Dr. Jack very much believes in you being happy with your body, meaning this isn't one of those, you hear lipo commercials and stuff like that. I was like, are you fat? Are you afraid to go outside? Do your friends laugh at you? No. That's not how he plays the game. That's not how it works. If you're happy with your body, regardless of how much weight you carry or where you carry it, if you're happy with your body, you're happy with your body, and God bless you, thumbs up. This commercial isn't for you. This is only for the people that aren't happy with their body. This is only for the people that either work out and exercise and just can't get rid of that problem area, or there's a couple of problem areas, or people, quite frankly, like me, that are lazy, don't like to work out, don't really exercise, and sit around, play video games, and eat fruit candy. Either way, whomever you are, if it's something you've looked at, you think it's too expensive, think again. If you think there's too much of a recovery time, no, it's an outpatient procedure. Recovery time is minimal, and the fat is permanently removed with, again, the Vaser and Vaser high-def technologies. It's right up there in Roseville, and get yourself just simply a free and private consultation at 347-7755. 916-347-7755 or NorCalLipo.com. That's NorCalLipo.com. Get in there today. And you tell me, good buddy,
Carmichael Dave
sent you.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, brought to you by Cintas. Every day, over 1 million businesses depend on Cintas. Get Cintas and get ready for the workday. My erstwhile Westwood One Radio Monday Night Football broadcast partner, Kevin Harlan, enjoyed a very special and historic experience last night.
And so it is with immense pride that I now send it down to the sideline to our reporter tonight in our daughter, Olivia Harlan Decker.
Dad, thank you, and it's great to get the toss from you like that. That sure is a lot of fun. And to be in one of the most hallowed venues in the NFL at Lambeau Field. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers warming up right now. Like you mentioned, both teams are on the field.
What a father's dream. What a daughter. What a job. By the way, Olivia's grandfather, Bob Harlan, he ran the Packers for more than 2 decades. Now that's what I call a football family. I'm Boomer Esiason.
This message is for the men and women out there who understand what it takes to do work right. Who say, it's my job, when others say it's too hard. Who do their very best, even when the specs call for just good enough. And that message is this: nice job. From your friends at Ariat Work, the makers of rebar workwear and boots built to the highest standard. Yours. See for yourself at ariatwork.com. or a Western or workwear store near you.
The internet is awesome, period. And nobody provides faster, more reliable internet than Xfinity, period. Whether you're in East Sac, Old Sac, Downtown, Midtown, Oak Park, River Park, or Land Park, man, we got a lot of parks. We've got you covered because you're getting unbeatable speed and coverage throughout your house. Whether you're in your living room, dining room, bathroom, guest room, ballroom, or panic room, Xfinity delivers the fastest, most reliable internet, period. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
Cash Creek's Cash Climb every Friday and Saturday with an $8,000 grand prize winner at 10 p.m.
Rayleigh's in Bel Air sponsors this look at weather. Sunny and warm again today. We're going to reach a high of 83 this afternoon. At Rayleigh's in Bel Air, get 4 ripe, creamy, large Haas avocados for $5. And this week, get bone-in New York steak for just $5.97 a pound at Rayleigh's in Bel Air. However you eat, this is how you save.
It's time for 4 Down Territory on the Drive. First down.
4 Down Territory brought to you by Fire Wings. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it. Hey, Kyle Madson, how about question number 1?
Yeah, hey, it's awards time. Who's your MVP of the week?
You know, we're always using my picks. This is supposed to be a back and forth thing, so I thought I'd turn it around a little bit and let you go and let me kind of follow up.
Okay.
For a change. Who is your MVP of the week, Kyle?
I have 2 people I'm considering.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw mine out here, and then you can decide.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers has got to get some consideration.
Sure.
Because we know the voters love a narrative. He's banged up, battered, beaten. Comes back last night against the 49ers with a 10-point fourth quarter. 25 of 46 for 425 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, on 100.4 passer rating, leading the Packers to a comeback win at home. Todd Gurley's got to get the other nod from me. 28 carries, 208 yards, and a couple of scores in a 23-20 win at Denver.
So let me give you my rule when I have a situation like this. Take Todd Gurley off of the Rams and put in his replacement. Take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers, put in his replacement. Which team is most likely to still win the ball game? I would say the Rams would be more likely to still win that game over the Broncos without Todd Gurley than the Packers having any chance without Aaron Rodgers. Todd Gurley should probably get it.
Sure.
But Aaron Rodgers breaking off, what was that, a 22-yard or something run late in the game with no legs.
Yeah.
I think his leg was back on the 50.
Yeah, that's actually how he does it. He detaches that leg.
All right, so Aaron Rodgers, your MVP.
Aaron Rodgers is the winner. That's fine.
Week.
I can rock with that. And like I said, and he's got the narrative on his side. Another comeback win that everybody just kind of saw coming.
You just knew. Same thing when Tom Brady and the Chiefs were playing.
Yeah.
You just knew. All right, second down.
Second down.
Rookie of the week.
All right, unless I'm missing something, this one's pretty easy, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's got to be Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
130 yards on the ground, 99 receiving yards, I believe.
That's 229 total, my friend.
Yeah, 229 total yards. I want to throw in another participant into the ring here.
Sure.
Because I believe Saquon's won it now 2 weeks in a row.
I think
Is that
so.
Right? Bradley Chubb. The Broncos. Of the Broncos.
Oh, that Bradley Chubb of the Broncos.
I believe he's Nick Chubb's cousin.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
I think. 5 tackles and 3 sacks against a very good Rams offensive line. I knew he wasn't going to come out with the victory, especially since the Broncos lost. But he gets an honorable mention from me because he was dynamite.
I agree with you on both counts. I think Saquon Barkley has to get it, though. When you've got 200-plus yards from scrimmage, a touchdown for a very bad New York Giants team, let's remember that. It's not like defenses aren't focusing on Barkley. He's still able to do this stuff.
Right.
Saquon Barkley, your rookie of the week. Third down.
There was a real quick before we get to third down. There's a podcast I listened to.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, you
where
listen to podcasts.
The person said that Saquon Barkley now is already better than Le'Veon Bell.
Man, it's just too...
Right?
I can see the argument.
Sure. But that's one of those hyperbolic things. It's like okay, let's relax.
Hyperbole?
He might get there.
Hyperbolic? The Hyperbole. Coming soon.
Right, yes.
Third down.
Third down.
Defensive Player of the Week.
Zadarius Smith.
That's one of my nominees. Yeah, Zadarius Smith, 5 tackles, 3 sacks, a forced fumble. But I'm also looking at Frank Clark of the Seahawks in a 27-3 win against the Raiders. 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles.
I'll give you the choice there. If you want to go with Frank Clark, go with Frank Clark.
I think Smith might be the winner here. Just part of leading the way in an 11-sack performance.
That's kind of where I'd lean.
This is the best player on the best team argument.
Right.
He had the best performance on the best defensive performance of the week.
And unless we give MVP of the week to the Ravens defense, they have to have a representative somewhere because that was the most dominant performance of anything we saw this week.
11 sacks. Zadarius Smith had 3 of them. Yeah, he gets the win.
Fourth down.
Fourth down.
What is the feel-good story of the week?
All right, I have a couple of nominees here, and Kyle, I want you to either add yours or choose from. We might be on the same page. Let me switch it around back here. You could make a case that the feel-good story of the week was Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, leading his team. I'm just saying.
Seen it before. Come up with an original idea.
Okay, how about this? Young, low-drafted quarterback at home, down against an undefeated team, and somehow leads his team to a victory on the game's final drive. That guy's name, Thomas Brady.
Tom Brady wasn't undrafted.
No, I said low-drafted.
Oh, did you?
Low-drafted.
Oh, I thought you said undrafted.
Yeah, low-drafted. What, 5th round?
I went with neither of those because Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady winning is not a feel-good story. That's just a story.
This is gross, and I admit it's gross. Cowboys destroying the Jaguars at home. Cowboys were 2-3 coming off a loss.
Not where I was going either.
The Jets and Sam Darnold. My goodness.
Another cool story. I'm out.
Oh, wow. Could the Dolphins be for real beating the Bears at home?
I wasn't going Dolphins here. I'm going with Glock Osweiler, though.
Oh.
Finds out an hour and a half before the game that he's starting. He goes for 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks against the vaunted Bears defense and leads the Dolphins to a win at home over Chicago.
Brocktober.
Brocktoberfest. Probably played his way into a fat contract this offseason.
Oh, he certainly did. Oh, without a doubt.
Like big facts.
Without a doubt. From like the Lions or something. Somebody, I don't know, let's threw the Lions out there. The Texans, the Broncos, somebody.
The Broncos. Going to bring them back. The Broncos.
Could our feel-good story also make, like, feel-good be that Vontaze Burfict lost?
That's another one. Hey, the 49ers kept it close.
That's a feel-good story.
Good for them.
Sounds condescending,
You only lost by a little bit.
Hey.
I was being very condescending.
Hey, good job.
Hey.
You didn't lose that badly.
You covered the spread.
All right. Matt Barrow's coming up at 8:05. We'll wrap up the Niners week. Iman Shumpert is scheduled for 8:35. Let's get into your Sacramento Kings next. Hey, now, here's the deal. We're going to go coach and positions. We're going to have some free-flowing conversation about this team and truly get into a preview. I welcome your questions and your thoughts at the Jiffy Lube text line at 441140 or on the Fire Wings phone line at 1-800-920-1140. Get in right now. We're back in just a couple. No flipping. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sports 1140 KHTK has made your mornings even better. Check out The Drive every morning on KHTK.com to not only hear the show, but to see the show as well. The Drive is now video streaming every morning from 6 to 9 on KHTK.com. All presented by the Sacramento Republic FC and by Jiffy Lube.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. When you call Ashton & Price, you'll make these great discoveries. You'll always be greeted by a real-life person. You will always meet with an experienced attorney. You'll be introduced to the best healthcare providers in the region. And we deal with the insurance companies, so you can focus on the most important thing, getting back your health. Over the last 22 years, we have a history of proven results. No one likes being injured, but we promise you will love Ashton & Price. Consultation is free, and you pay no fee unless you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility and save $8 instantly when you replace your worn wiper blades with a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get premium blades that ensure clear vision in any weather and save $8 instantly on a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Frank Trigg. Being an athlete, professional fighter, and now a stuntman is physically demanding, but right now, I feel at the top of my game. After retiring from fighting in my late 30s, I was in pain from old injuries, gained a ton of weight, and lost motivation. At Universal Men's Clinic, I met with Dr. Arakaki and learned that men like me with physically demanding or stressful jobs are at risk for low testosterone. My visit got me back on the right track. I started being active again, playing with my kids more, and now I feel better and more focused.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arakaki. If you have an active lifestyle or physically demanding job like first responders or construction workers, know that you're at risk for low T. If you'd like to revive your energy, increase your strength, or improve your performance, we can help.
Call Universal Men's Clinic at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit universalmensclinic.com.
Golfers, come play Teal Bend Golf Course as we pay tribute to the classic movie Caddyshack. Join us on Saturday, October 20th at Teal Bend Golf Course. Pay $75, and here's what you get. Green fee plus cart and range balls, a sleeve of Pro V1s for your round of golf, and our post-event All-American Buffet, plus a chance to win prizes during and after your round of golf, and be the best-dressed character from Caddyshack to win a special prize. For details, call 916-922-5209. Play golf holes for one day and one day only. Holes like the no flag hole, the tractor hole, along with other unique and fun holes. Join us for the Caddyshack Open. Spend the day with family and friends. Reserve your spot. Call 916-922-5209. It happens Saturday, October 20th with a shotgun start at 8 a.m. For details, call 916-922-5209. That's 916-922-5209.
Hey NorCal, right now take home a 2018 Honda Accord, the 2018 North American Car of the Year, and make no payments until next year. That's right, KBB.com's 2018 overall best buy is also a payment time machine. It's sleek, stylish, and packed with all the high tech you expect from a time machine, like a windshield heads-up display, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Honda Sensing Safety Suite, wireless connectivity, and you can drive one home for 0 payments until next year. Named a Car and Driver's 10 Best list a record 32 times in a row, the Honda Accord is a tried and true classic on the futuristic cutting edge of technology.
90-day deferred payments not available on leases. Interest accrues from date of purchase. Some additional restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Unapproved credit. Dealer fees may apply. Offer ends 10/31/18. Valid only in California. For more info, visit KellyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelly Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelly Blue Book Co. Inc. Features not available on all trim levels. Car and Driver, January 2018.
Time travel to your Northern California Honda dealer today and drive a new Accord for the rest of the year, payment free.
Sports 1140 KHTK's coverage of high school football is presented by Wingstop. Listen every Friday night to the Wingstop High School Football Wrap-Up Show and get all the coverage on KHTK.com.
Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
Hey, this is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The 49ers managed to keep it close in Green Bay, but they couldn't overcome Aaron Rodgers' late-game heroics, and the Packers walked away with a 33-30 win on Monday night thanks to a last-second field goal from kicker Mason Crosby. C.J. Beathard had 246 yards and 2 touchdowns with an interception. Aaron Rodgers had 425 yards and 2 touchdowns. The 49ers are now 1-5. They have lost their last 4 in a row. The NLCS continued last night with the Brewers notching a 4-0 win over the Dodgers down in Los Angeles. Game 4 of that series is tonight, with the Brewers leading 2-1. The ALCS is all knotted up at a game apiece. Game 3 is later this afternoon, with the Red Sox and Astros squaring off in Houston. Also tonight, the start of the 2018-19 NBA season. The Celtics and 76ers will kick off the campaign in Boston. That's followed by the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Golden State Warriors from Oracle Arena. The Kings open their season tomorrow at home against the Utah Jazz. And don't forget your number 2 seed, Sac Republic FC, opened their USL playoffs on Saturday against the Swope Park Rangers at Papa Murphy's Park. We will see you all out there. It's 7:33. Carpets Plus is having our fall sale, 25% off all of your flooring needs. Those are your top stories, and now it's back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHT.
It's The Drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I doing a bit on Kawhi Leonard's laugh? Please let me expand on that.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Yes.
We won the M&A.
Almost played the wrong soundbite there. Kawhi Leonard and the NBA are back. Hey, Kawhi Leonard in a Toronto Raptors uniform. Ooh. That'll be interesting to watch. I'm trying to think of fun things to watch about the NBA. Now, we could have done a national-style preview. Break down the Warriors and who can compete with them. How many wins will they get? Where the Boston Celtics and Sixers going to be? But who cares, right? Like, you're going to get that everywhere else. Nobody anywhere is going to talk about our Sacramento Kings unless it's they suck, they're a joke, Vlade sucks, Luka Doncic, and I'm not saying any of that. All of that could be right, but I only like it when we say that we suck. I don't like it when other people say that we suck. I don't like it when national reporters who only look at box scores and the occasional highlight formulate this idea about the Kings, this narrative. They don't know what they're talking about. Worst case scenario for your Sacramento Kings. And I'm taking injury out of the equation because obviously that goes without saying. Worst case scenario, Marvin Bagley shows that he's rawer than people think. Continues to go to his left only. And, has a couple of flashy games where you think there's hope, but looks like he might end up being a journeyman type player. Now, Harry Giles fouls out of every game. Willie Cauley-Stein, playing for a contract, continues to disappear, as does Justin Jackson. De'Aaron Fox continues to show that he's super fast and capable of scoring in bunches, but can't hit a three, doesn't really play defense, on and on and on. Kings win somewhere in the high teens, and watch as the Boston Celtics draft whoever with their number 1 pick in the draft.
The 76ers, I believe, get the pick if it's
number one. You're right. The Celtics two or below. You're absolutely correct. That and many, and then at the end of the year, because everybody is so ticked off, if they're not already gone, Dave Yeager is fired. If he's fired during the year, my assumption would be Elston Turner would take over as the interim coach as a placeholder until they fire Vlade Divac, and the new GM, be it either Brandon Williams or a new GM overall, comes in and hires their own coach, and here we go again. That would be the worst case. What is the best case scenario? And I'm not saying the best case scenario is they win the championship, because I'm talking about the best case.
Realistic best case scenario.
Just like that's a realistic worst case.
Okay.
That's why I'm not saying the Kings win 2 games.
Right. I think a realistic best case scenario is you have Marvin Bagley averaging 18 and 10.
Okay.
You get Harry Giles averaging 15, 7 and 3.
Mm-hmm. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox finds his shooting stroke a little bit. He averages up near 15 or so. Buddy Hield continues kind of building off of what he put together last year. And they wind up winning 27 games.
I would go further. I agree with everything you said. I would go further, and I would say I have to allow for a best case scenario in which they win 30 games.
Okay,
and
you know what? That's fine.
Nitpicking, but 30 seems to be a barometer for a lot of people, and I don't want to sit here and say it's impossible for them to win 30.
No, that's right, because if you have your 2 starting big men averaging near double doubles, and you have De'Aaron Fox averaging 15 and 8, with Buddy Hield pouring in 20 off the bench, they're going to win 30 games.
It's interesting. I'm looking at their schedule because I wanted to get into that. And then if you look at the schedule on ESPN, it will also show the StubHub link where you can see, like, for opening night against Utah, currently 422 tickets, as low as $28. So while you were talking, I was listening, just kind of scrolling. Opening night, $28.
Okay.
First night at home versus LeBron, $95. That's the lowest ticket you can get into right now. The 2 highest, most expensive tickets to get for your Sacramento Kings, by the way, including on the road, including at Golden State, where right now you can get in for as low as $77 in Oakland. The 2 highest, LeBron's Sacramento debut as a Laker, $95 on Saturday, November 10th. And then we go all the way down. Where are you here? LA's other visit, Thursday, December 27th. Tickets as low as $101, meaning you can't get into that game for cheaper than $101. So, again, what does that mean?
Jeez.
That means that season ticket holders who are having trouble giving away their tickets for certain games this year, when you see the Warriors or the Lakers play in Sacramento, not only is there an overwhelming chance that the Kings are going to get run off the floor in those games, but the arena will be filled with Warrior and Laker fans making the trek, or who currently live here, who are paying top dollar to season ticket holders who, A, don't want to go to these games and watch the Kings get blown off the floor, and B, are going to make some of their money back by selling their tickets for 4, 5, and 6 times face value. So prepare yourself, guys, for things like that. Let me get to some phone calls here. Is this Dean? Hello, Dean.
David.
Dino.
Hey, we were talking NFL earlier, but if the Kings are 6-20, I'll be happy to start the season.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I've said before, I think in the first 20 games, my win total is about 3.5 for the first 20. So if they're 6-20, that means they went 3-3 over their next 6. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too. Hey, real quick, I know you've moved beyond football, but I thought the feel-good story was the Chiefs quarterback. I mean, going into Foxborough and slinging it against Brady. I mean, nobody thought the Chiefs were going to win that game, but I thought I was impressed by the way that guy played.
I was too. Oh, sorry. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that, Dean. Sorry. No, Patrick Mahomes has been a feel-good story all year long, and I didn't lose any respect for the Chiefs.
Somebody on the text line brought up Frank Gore as well, going for 101 yards.
No, he's already a Hall of Famer. What else
exactly.
is he? Is this Gary?
Yeah, it's Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Dave, I'm afraid that our best case scenario is this year we become the version of the NFL New York Football Giants. And that is that we have a crappy team this year, with a really, really good second-round draft pick. I think that's our best case scenario.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, it's tough for me to say. Listen, I'm going to try to be honest and not sugarcoat, but I don't. I think our best case scenario, honestly, is the year ends and you can see something here. You got to see something. Okay, De'Aaron Fox is on his way to being an all-star. Harry Giles is barring injury, and that's going to be Harry Giles' full name for about 5 years, is Harry Giles barring injury. He's the new Joel Embiid. He's going to have to wear that for a while. That Harry Giles ended up in some top fives for Rookie of the Year and could be a force to be reckoned with. Or Marvin Bagley finishes top 5 Rookie of the Year. Something. You're going to need to see in the summertime. You know, it's too bad the Kings didn't have a first-round pick because, man, that's a really good core there. I would honestly take, at the end of this year, having the thought that the Sacramento Kings are very much like this year's Cleveland Browns. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's true. You look at this year's Browns and you go, okay, I see some pieces. They've got Myles Garrett. They've got Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb in the wings. They're not going to make the playoffs this year, but this, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel for the Browns. That's, at the end of this year, what I want to see out of the Kings. Somebody asked me last night, Aaron Brewski, our good friend who writes for Hoopball and many other places, had said some about the Kings might be best waiting, 6 years from now. I don't want to misquote him, but it was basically Kings should focus on making the playoffs 6 years from now. And I think it's difficult when you go that far out to predict what's going to happen. There could be nobody on this roster that we know now from 6 years. But what I will say, if you want to talk about best case scenarios, here's what I think is the bottom line. Best case scenario at the end of this year is what we just talked about. The Kings are like the Browns of this year, a little bit of change. Next year, the Kings get into the mid to high 30s, and you really can see a difference. And they're also going to have another pick. You really can see a difference. Maybe in the summertime, they go out, they're going to throw max deals at every 3 you can think of. Trust me. That's who they're going for with their money. They're going to go for, Kevin Durant's going to be a free agent. They'll throw him a max. He's not going to sign it, of course. There'll be others. My guess is they're going to end up, their top, one of their top prospects might be a guy like Chris Middleton. They'll end up settling for a Harrison Barnes. They're going to try to fill that 3 spot. And maybe you go into, at the end of next season, they didn't make the playoffs, but damn it, they were competitive all year round. They had some games where they blew some good teams out, and you can see something there. Watch out for these Kings. And then you go into the following year, and maybe some of the national writers have the Kings as surprise playoff contenders. And then the Kings make the playoffs, sneak in as an 8, 7, or 6 seed. But that still means a bottom line, probable best case scenario for the Kings if things go correctly is that you're looking at this year and next year, again, no playoffs. This year and next year, I do not see, barring a tremendous free agent signing or some sort of trade that brings an all-star, barring something like that, which are very unlikely to happen, I don't see any realistic scenario where the Kings are in the playoffs for the next 2 years. Coach Yeager. Coach Yeager is going to be an enigma this year because Coach Yeager has 1 year left on his deal. Vlade Divac, same thing. Vlade said, we all remember, and we're all going to bring it back come this February, if in 2 years this thing hasn't turned around, I'll step down. Well, people are going to call him on that. There will be people that call him on that. The idea is, what do you consider turned around? What is the definition of that? If you're Coach Yeager, scratch that. If you're a fan of the Sacramento Kings, you ask yourself, what does Coach Yeager need to do with this team by the end of this year for me to want him to be retained the following year? And like I said, he's under contract next year, but coaches don't play on lame duck contracts, or they don't coach on lame duck contracts. He'll either get extended or fired before next season. In my opinion, what I need out of Coach Yeager is I need to see youth development. I don't care about the wins. There's no difference to me if they win 28 or they win 21. That's no difference to me. What does matter is, am I seeing development and improvement from De'Aaron Fox, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Harry Giles, Marvin Bagley? is a true core and an identity being formed with this team. How's the locker room? How's their demeanor on the floor? Are they hustling? Are they responding to him? That's what I need to see out of the coach. Because I don't. You can put Greg Popovich as a coach of this team, or Brad Stevens, or Quinn Snyder. Pick the coach.
I understand that's where the frustration is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
People are not going to like rotations, and people are not going to like. But if they're giving, I mean, the fact remains, like you just said, if they're going 100%, they're giving good effort. They are trying to maximize, do everything they can to maximize both the short and long-term talent that they have on their roster, then great. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
But the fact is after their first 20, if they're 3-17,
this is where I worry. I will tell you right now, this is where I really worry. My entire brain is focused on that 2-game homestand, 3-game homestand, I should say, of Utah, LA, and Indiana, November 25th, November 29th, and December 1st. Because then they go on the road to Phoenix. Their 20th game, I believe, is against Utah on the 25th, of which I think they will be 3-20, 4-19, or 3-17, 4-16, 5-15. Got my math wrong. But they're going to have, in my opinion, between 3 and 5 wins in their first 20 games. That brings us to November 25th at home versus Utah. Then you have the Clippers at home and the Pacers at home, and you go to Phoenix. That's right where coaches can sometimes get fired. If they come off of that with a bad record and they go into Phoenix, and then you've got Cleveland, and they lose one or both of those games, that's where I can see the front office and or ownership panicking and making a move. So I want Kings fans to circle that part of the schedule. I would say November 25th through December 7th. A lot of times when you see coaches fired, they get fired on the road, sent home. Team finishes with an interim head coach on the road, then they come back home. And that's right around the time of year where you're going to see some of the first coaches fired, if in fact that happens this year. I don't want to see ownership in the front office panic. I want them to have reasonable expectations. I don't think that it's very, there's nothing productive or logical about wins are the bottom line. If you're not winning, you don't belong in this league. You got to win. I don't want moral victory. I want to. It's about wins. I've been waiting too long. Well, I get it. But you can't just will your way into a win. You have to have horses.
it's kind of like when they were pursuing Zach LaVine in free agency, which I thought would be a bad long-term move for them.
Yes.
And I was talking to some friends who are Kings fans, and they're like, I don't care, man. I just want an exciting player. Like,
yeah.
I understand it's frustrating, but like this is what they've got right now.
It's what they have.
And if your expectation is 40 wins and a playoff push,
you're going to be very disappointed.
Extremely.
Very disappointed. Is that being negative? Is that being pessimistic? I think it's being realistic. I think to think that this team can win 35 or more games, you're fooling yourself.
Negative and pessimistic would have been, let's go back to 2002. And we're going into the 2002 season. And you're going, there's no way they can replicate what they did. And,
sure.
Chris Webber's going to have a down year. And,
sure.
And you're just saying all this stuff that is patently untrue.
From the 916, why do you want Vlade and the coach fired? Let's take a step backwards and go with the instability again. Yeah, that sounds great. Sometimes I completely wonder, and I don't want to get derailed.
What are they listening to?
Seriously, what are you listening to? How did you pull out of everything we just said that, we want the coach and Vlade fired? I don't know. I don't know if Vlade deserves to hold on to his job next year. I don't know that. I've been in Jaeger's corner for a while now, and the last thing I just said is circle that date on your calendar. I hope ownership in the front office don't panic. To me, the only way Dave Jaeger should be fired this year is if the team is completely tuned him out.
Right. If they quit on him and it's clear that he has done all they can do with this unit.
Correct. That's it. If they're tuning him out and they're not listening and they're not learning from this coaching staff, that's when they got to go because you can't fire players. Not all in the middle of the season.
I worry though, and I think you share this concern. Let's say they do start in their first 20, they're 3-17.
Mm-hmm.
Or how many games in was that?
20. Utah 20. November 25th. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the one where you said if they lose to either Phoenix or Cleveland.
That's that you're looking at. If Utah is 20, that's on the 25th. That would be 21, 22, 23. The Phoenix game in Phoenix is the 23rd game of the season.
Okay, so let's say they go into that. That's 4-18.
Mm-hmm.
But they have lost 10 games by one possession, and the young guys are playing and they look good.
Sure.
And that is when I think it would be a mistake to fire the coach for what that texter said. Like at that point, you're going back to square one. And I'm really afraid of that happening because this is a results business.
Right. And we just can't have that in ownership. Here's the thing. Here's the bottom line, too, is that we're talking about Dave Yeager and we're talking about Vlade Divac. And here's the thing nobody wants to say, and I'll say it.
Say it.
Vivek's on the firing line, too, here. You can't fire an owner. But if this latest build or rebuild doesn't work, if we go through another Vlade and another Dave Yeager, then you have to take a good, hard look at everything above Vlade Divac as well and who's making those decisions. It's only fair. Now, I will compliment Vivek in the fact that since he first took over the team and jazz bands and 4-on-5 and all the stuff that some got very much blown out of proportion, Vivek has been almost reclusive over the last couple of years. He goes to the games. He cheers for the team. But when it comes to him being in the press, him being out front, he's been very reclusive. You have to acknowledge that. But if we go through another GM and coaching turnover, at some point, you have to look and see if ownership under its current construction is capable of facilitating a winning franchise, culture, ball club. Yeah, you have to call that out, or you're not being objective and you're being unfair. And at the same time, you got to give credit where credit is due to all the principals if it starts turning around. Look at what Sam Hinkie's doing in Philly with his reputation. And he's gone. Philly fans wish they could have Sam Hinkie back right now, and they're probably going to the Eastern Conference Finals. You have to take a look at the entire franchise is my point. I don't think the fall guys should only be Vlade Divac and only be Dave Yeager. Somebody hired somebody who hired somebody. And at some point, you have to follow the breadcrumbs and look at who is doing that hiring. Part 2 of the Kings preview tomorrow. We'll get into specifics. We'll get into win totals. We'll go through the schedule. We'll start looking at expected successes, expected failures, and really what you want to see out of this ball club. We'll try to get you another Kings guest this year. When we take a break, we'll take a break right now. When we come back, I should say, Matt Barrows will flip to football real quick. We'll talk about the Niners. We'll wrap that game and this week up, and then we'll get back to the Kings at 8:35 with Iman Shumpert. It's The Drive, Sports 1140 KHTK.